Yep, they don't have to. I don't have to do a roll call or anything.
Okay, we are live, folks. Okay. This meeting's being live streamed, and I guess it'll go away in just a second.
You'll have to knock that one. I'll get it.
Oh, sorry.
Go off the screen without it.
There you go. Call this meeting to order at 5:33. Welcome to the April 11th Calvert City Council meeting. Linda gets done scribbling. I asked her to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, so everybody has a copy of the meeting minutes from March 14th. And those are okay. I would entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Got a motion? We have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. All right. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that. Youth voice writing contest winner for April. Blair's in here somewhere with this, I think.
You may need to turn that mic on. While this was turned on.
Yeah, I didn't turn it on.
Just push down the left button and hold it till the yellow comes on.
The winner of the Youth Voice Writing Contest for this month is Cameron Sullivan. He's from Paducah, 13 years old, and he has a lovely write-up about healthy sleeping habits. So that's pretty adorable for a 13-year-old, but very well written. And he loves to play basketball and soccer and hang out with his family and his friends. So he was announced today, but it won't be in the paper till Wednesday. So we're kind of off schedule here. Normally we announce afterwards, but anyway, congratulations to Cameron Sullivan.
So where can we find a copy of said essay?
Yeah, you can get it on Wednesday. It'll be out in Lloyd's Lake News. Lloyd's News. Lake News. Lake News, and then it's also will be available online on Wednesday when it gets published. So get out there.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is old business, and it's blank underneath old business. Does somebody want to bring up some old business? No.
I'll just say Ray's Tucker had a heart attack and I've not pursued anything. He's doing well,
Okay,
but I've not pursued anything else on the generator, but
right.
probably will this next month.
So we were,
May I bring, go ahead and finish. I'm sorry. I've got something I was going to tell you about that you brought that up.
go ahead.
Okay, well, the grants, the hazard mitigation grant program, generators are in that program and in that grant program, and that's one of their pushes. So that might be something else we can actually look at, possibly trying to write a grant for that purpose or towards that purpose.
Which grant program is that?
The hazard mitigation grant program, HMGP.
And that's through who?
That's through the state.
Okay.
But that comes from the FEMA funds that came back after the declaration. So, and that's one of the items that we were told has a priority is generators.
But we still would have trouble if we got the generator, giving that generator, loaning it or giving it to the church. That's what we're trying to get away from by the city offering a grant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I expect to go ahead and
File it because you could use it at the civic center.
there's other places, yeah. Public Works could use one, Civic Center could use one, so yeah. That's the reason we'll write one. We're gonna, I
Sure.
think we're gonna apply for one anyway, and whether or
Yeah.
not,
What's,
where we use it, that would be up to you all.
you meant, what's the time frame for, what's it?
I'd have to go back, and I don't have it on my notes right here, but it's sometime later this year.
Okay. I think one for the Civic Center. We have some city assets which we do own, which would benefit from such a grant. Or we can take a look at the guidance and see if it's possible to do something different for another location. So what is the deadline? I was going to wait on this, but I'll go ahead and mention it now. We did close on the airport municipal bond issue. Closed on that earlier, about 2 weeks ago.
It was supposed to have been, I think, on the 6th. I have not heard anything. I did get everything into them.
They were funded on the 6th.
Okay.
We're still waiting
That's pretty hard.
on a letter from, actually, it's from the finance cabinet. It's supposed to be from Parks, but it's coming from the finance cabinet. They have told us that it's coming, but we have not yet received it. It's a consent.
Okay.
We have to have their consent in order to be able to move forward with this thing. And the state knows that. But they went ahead and funded the loan, funded the bond issue based upon the promise of the state that consent is on its way.
Okay. So it sounds like I announced the close a little
Yeah.
prematurely.
The state closed their part of it.
Right. So it's contingent upon that.
Us getting the consent.
Okay. But the rates and everything have been set up and the amounts have been set. A whole pile of paperwork has been signed
In triplicate.
in triplicate. Yeah. With one left unsigned that we had to come back to. That's all good. Has anybody else got any old business? Okay. New business. We need to pass a resolution that Calvert City wants to participate, continue to participate as a member of the Tennessee River Line. Blair, do you have anything to add to that? She disappeared on us again. She's up from wherever. So in front of you, you have resolution 2203. And I suppose that we can read it.
The preamble of all those whereas paragraphs are just preamble that describes the program itself. And the two parts of the resolution that you're actually affirming are section 1 and 2 down there at the bottom, which in English say, yeah, we think it's a good idea.
So do you need a motion or?
Yeah, we need a motion in a second. Blair, you got anything to add to this or?
It's just establishing a partnership, in order to finish stage 1 of all of the criteria that they have to be a river town for stage 1. You have to pass this resolution. So this is the last of stage 1. We'll move on to stage 2.
Great. I make a motion that we pass the resolution 2203.
Do we have a second? Second. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, same. Okay, it passes. I'll be very pleased to sign this one. It's an interesting notion, and everywhere we talk about it, people are very interested in that 652 miles. And we're right here on it. And John loves it because it affiliates us with University of Tennessee somewhat. Okay. I started to make this appointment at our last council meeting. Joel Barrett and I had not talked to the chair of that committee, which I have committed to doing. And so I would like to appoint Joel Barrett to the Calvert City Planning Commission. He's been on that one before, and he's got enough time on his hands that he's agreed to get with it again. And so I would think he'd be a great person to have on that committee. So I appoint him for consideration. And I guess I'm going to ask for a confirmation of that from the council.
Make a motion to approve Joel Barrett to the Calvert City Planning Commission.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Take a vote. Congratulations, Joel. Tuning in from TV land, I'm sure. He's excited. Okay, consideration of surplus property. John, I'm gonna turn this over to you.
Well, this was actually something we had talked about in December of last year, and we were supposed to put it on the agenda for January, and somehow it slipped on us, and we kept looking and realized we did not, while we were looking at this, we had not actually gotten your approval on it. So this is to get rid of the old tanker, chemical tanker car that we have at Fire Training Center. And we tried to find a railroad museum that might want it and take it, and we never got anything back from any of them that said, one turned it down, one did said we need to talk to our board. Never heard anything back from them. So at this point, we just want to throw it out at good gov deals to see if it'll work. And this actually gives us some different things. If that doesn't work, then we just sure scrap it. If we want to just cut it up and scrap it ourselves or whatever, but
So this is a valiant effort to try to repurpose this thing instead of cutting it up for scrap metal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
so we would like to be able to go ahead and move forward with it on gov deals, or if that doesn't work, then just scrap it. Sometimes we don't get bids back from gov deals, and if we don't, then we do that to go to scrap on it.
That's
So
why they're going for the new prop there. Where it's-
it is.
Yeah. The idea was at one time, and it's an older tank car. And I don't know when it dates from. Do you know what the date is on it?
30s.
So we were looking at actually cutting
I guess right,
the dome off the thing and creating a old but yet new. And it's like, if you're gonna do this, it doesn't really add any functionality because it's out there on a tank car. So the board, Tim's not here, but the board has decided it's better to just go ahead and clear that area out. And then for the rail car dome training, they've got better ways to do that instead of that older prop. So and we did check, I called Rail Services, checked with them. They had donated it originally. And so instead of scrapping it out, we've made several phone calls trying to find a home. Going to make one more last ditch effort to try to get moved as is. As somebody might particularly want it in the form of a tank car as opposed to a pile of steel. So we'll see what we come up with.
And most everybody was doing the old pasture cars, not these freight and that type of car.
So with that, I'd take a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion that we dispose of the property as requested.
Got a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. How long? Ooh,
I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry. I don't know.
it's not as large as, it's not nowhere near as large as the modern ones. But I don't know the dimensions right off, Lloyd.
County used to use them, cut the ends out of them, use them for culverts.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Woo.
I mean, they make excellent culverts if you can get it moved.
This one's constructions with rivets. I mean, it's got plates riveted.
Oh, I've seen lots of them. It's really-
Yeah.
How many tons say it weighs?
It's unbelievable. It's got to weigh, like, it's a huge amount of weight. It's got to be.
I hate to know how much weight's even in just the trucks.
I don't even know, but I don't know how they would have done it. Much.
Randy Johnson, he told me.
Yeah. But anyway, appreciate the vote, and the Fire Training Center Board would be happy to get us moving on that. To probably, nobody's called me up about it lately, but I'm sure they're ready for it to be moved already. How slow can government move? So, it would have been nice to have found a home for it, but we didn't. On new business, as you know, there's a lot of budget preparation going on and talks within the various divisions of government and boards and operations. So for council members, John is going to be available if you've got something that's on your mind in particular that we need to get a good cost estimate for. It's on your mind that we can bring back through the budgeting process.
So the only two that I would have would be, we talked about some of the ARPA funds for the generator,
Mhm.
that in the budget. And then I think we need to do something with the bank building down there. We've been holding on to that for years and years, maybe put some money back to have an architect to come in,
I forget about that.
have an architect to come in and give us some kind of estimate on that, because we're just, Kate has put their money in it, and I know they're having their meeting there, but it's going to crumble if we don't do something.
Someone mentioned to me during the sesquicentennial, I don't know who it was. Someone who came in and suggested that we have what's left of the old part of Calvert City put on the National Register of Historic Places. And they mentioned there is money available through federal government for that sort of thing. I have no idea how you go about something like that, but since she mentioned the old bank building, that just came to mind, and I just thought I'd throw it out.
Yeah, we can't forget about the bank bill. We got to get something done on that. We've got it's in bad need of a vision. And it's, I took a tour of it when I first got in this spot with Bob, and it wasn't as bad as what I thought. We've done some more work to it. And the pad on the first floor is probably not quite as thick as what we had imagined. So I haven't talked to Bob in the last few months about what he has found out about it. But the roof was in pretty decent shape at that time. And that was last spring, about a year ago.
Well, actually, you remember what we always done to it? I mean, we've done some things to it to kind of stabilize it.
Well, lately we just reconnected the gas lines.
Yeah.
They had got the gas line disconnected and I wasn't aware of it. You gotta move.
To the back.
And we would turn the heat on, it wasn't. So then we had to get all that reconnected. Of course, run new gas lines, all that. Because it was, I actually keep it heated and cooled. Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just enough to keep it from mold. Because it was actually starting to mold upstairs, the chairs and stuff. Like Cada has a lot of chairs and stuff stored up there. They were actually starting to mold, so we kicked the heat and air on it and just kind of pull some of the humidity stuff out. Other than that, we really haven't done much to it.
When I was in there, the upstairs didn't look all that bad. It was the downstairs.
Yeah, I
that was
think it's the
kinda
downstairs,
frightening,
you know.
When we bought it, the upstairs had been recently remodeled and had brand new central heat and air.
That's why it's nice. It was just
So
a
the
good burn
upstairs
up
is nice. There's not really a word to describe the downstairs. But it has so much potential.
Right.
Because you don't just have a building, you have all that parking lot too. That all came with that building. I mean, that property purchase was a win-win-win-win if we do something with it.
So we gotta get a vision and get a hold of it. So we need to put an appropriate amount of money in the budget to figure out what we're ultimately gonna do with it. And I think Bob has had some revelations on it that's changed since the last time I've been through it.
Would that vision be the bottom part of it, would it be just the city's vision, or would that be CADA and the cities together on that?
I believe it should be together. I
That
mean,
was
if
what
you're
I
gonna
was-
have a building like that, you need a group of supporters, and we gotta bring them along on that idea and investigate what it takes to arrive at a place that, all of us say it's important. All of us think it's neat, nifty, but again, you just you need to get a vision of how you're gonna utilize space, because it's not gonna come free,
No,
and the utility bills won't be free. But it is a very unique opportunity that, to let it slip without proper consideration would be a total loss. And so it's been languishing. I mean, it seems like we're about this spot last year.
and the year before.
Well, I can't attest to the year before so much, but I don't remember what year it was that we acquired it. Do you remember?
It
You
was
remember the
about
year?
10 years ago.
Been that long?
Yeah.
Did you say 10 years ago since we, I've been on council since we.
No, it was before, when we came on, they'd already bought it when we came on.
No, because we approved that.
Yeah, it was after
Or
the,
at least it was in the works then,
Yeah.
right?
It was in the
was-
works, so we-
yeah,
It took a
right.
while to track
Okay.
down the title. or
That,
something.
yeah, that
Yes.
is true. That's right.
There was issues with the union had changed
That's what it was.
affiliations multiple
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
since
yeah.
the-
It's like
Still
somebody
the
owned it, but
same.
nobody owned it.
But they changed.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
had multiple different affiliations.
Yeah, yeah.
and never changed.
That's what it was.
so if someone has a project they'd like to see consideration, get with John. We'll get a budgetary estimate together so we can include it. And when we get through our budgetary actions, we'll be able to better talk about it.
Yeah, just if you will, just give me a call, let me know if you want to talk about something in particular. I'll set something up if I need to stay over or something like that. 'Cause I'll try to work around your schedules.
Do you know when it'll be ready for us? It could be as late as last year in June, or could we maybe
Although
start?
you'll hear it in May.
Good.
I mean, that's my, it depends on if I can get everybody, to get me the stuff, so I can put it together. But we're looking at May. It would not be the regular meeting, but a special
Sure.
call toward middle, late May. That would give us enough time to have a second, if we needed a second meeting before, and then try to do the second reading at the June meeting. That was my goal.
Okay. Somebody else got a budgetary concern? I mean, I know a lot of the departments are already rolling stuff up and looking at the normal equipment needs and stuff like that. So, and many of the boards have been discussing at their normal board meetings. Something completely different that I'm gonna pull out, and I've really not talked to anybody, but I hope Tim would be here. but I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this anyway. The fire department, and this is me seeking input from you guys on personnel policy for the city. We have an anti-nepotism clause in our ethics rule and for city departments. Okay. The fire department, volunteer fire service in particular, a lot of times if mom or dad are involved with the volunteer fire department, a lot of times the kids are interested in the fire department. So that poses a little bit of problem in our consideration of whether fire department is really, are they really employees or are they not? Are they something different or are they not? So in some regards, we set forth policies that are earmarked of good operations, fundamentally good choices. And the fire department at this point in time, if someone is a chief, then they currently, as we understand the nepotism policy, the anti-nepotism policy here, we prohibit them from having relatives, close personal relatives, a son or a daughter, from being on the fire department. And right now, one of the things we could benefit from is a wider fire department membership. We need some numbers. So I wanted to bring this up. I mean, it's a personnel policy issue, but I wanted to see and maybe just put that out there as a seed of what y'all might think about that. It's very common in volunteer fire districts to see fathers and sons and mothers and sons and stuff on the department. And the way that we operate Calvert City Fire Department, it's a volunteer fire department, but it is our fire department. And there's really not a fire board to bounce out off of. So, as mayor with policies and stuff, I wanted to, bring that to the council and see what you guys might think about that.
They're actually utilizing our full-time policies for theirs, and that there may be some areas there that would need to be relaxed a little bit
Well, I mean,
for volunteers.
it has evidently changed because Ed was fire chief and Fred was his son-in-law,
Right.
and they were on it for years and years.
I think of the way the ethics ordinance is a little different for, sons and daughters.
And I actually
That
thought
is.
we had a married, you're just talking about the chief's position
Mhm.
though, right?
Well, we're
mean-
talking, what they do is if you have just,
Supervisory position.
if you have just firefighters, then you have firefighters. But if somebody ascends and they're an active officer, then they would be seen as possibly being supervision of an immediate family member. And there's the rub.
Ridiculous.
So by the policy, my son could not work for the city because he would be could be under my supervision, and he couldn't work for the city.
Well, is Brad's son not under his supervision?
No, he's on the water department, not in
Okay.
public works.
Okay,
That's the difference.
but he does a good job. I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not,
Well,
it's not
and
that,
it's-
but what
and-
I'm trying, sometimes the impression of it, we need to clarify it,
Right.
you know?
And so there's provisions in that if there is a hire that's done, then the council's informed, okay? But there's a prohibition upon direct supervision of.
I mean, to me, I think the key word to me is volunteer.
Mhm.
And I think they volunteer, and I don't see that they should have to fall under our full-time employees.
Well, it's a blend. I mean, a lot of the reasons that they do.
I mean, I can see part of it, but when you figure a fire department, it is something that usually that interest is within a family of
Mhm.
each other and
Mhm.
things like that. And again, it's volunteers. It's not somebody you're really paying a
So
salary
that's
to.
my thinking
It's
on
not a
that
paid
too.
position.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And if there were an issue that would occur, then there would be the members of the
Right,
management
there is-
positions would meet and resolve the issue.
right, there's an appeal process too.
Right.
So you could run afoul if you had, and just hypothetical, purely hypothetical. I mean, if you had a officer who was showing undue preference for a family member, that could be an issue. And there is a way to appeal and to mitigate that too in their policies and procedures. So just batting this about a little bit, I think, Nita, it's different. And I think that we agree on that. And I just thought I'd throw it out here so you guys could have, if you had concerns or something, you can let me know before I went down that road.
Go down it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, it's one of those things that fire department membership throughout is very important. And it's, you don't have to volunteer for very long. It starts looking a lot like work. And so, trying to foster the volunteers and get more. And I said in one of their budgetary talks I guess a couple of weeks ago, and that was one of the issues that came up. What can we do to help out and get membership? And that's one that was immediately identified to me. And so.
Is that what they're doing now? They're.
No, we've actually, we have an officer whose son is actually I don't want to get too many details, on another fire department and prohibited from being on ours. And so we wanted to kind of get some relief on that and open it up for some others that might come along.
Because that's the only personnel policy we've got
Mhm.
to go by.
And there's good reasons for that. I mean, it's good, sound, fundamental reasons, but you know, it's a little different.
Are there personnel policies out there for volunteer departments that you could look?
You can have some different.
That's what I'm saying, but is there
Guidelines, yeah.
something you could find a guideline?
There are many guidelines. KLC has them, of course, and the fire commission has them too. So there's a lot of guidance on those. So,
It's been
Yep.
forever since we did that, but I think we're given some leeway.
mhm.
We know a guy,
I don't
he
think
had
it's-
to type one up for us. We know. a
There you go.
Charges for it and all.
He can have one, typed up.
I think we've got some flexibility.
Okay, all right. So I just want to get your 2 cents worth. And I see a lot of nodding heads. I'll take it for what I paid for it, but just will make you aware. Okay. So unless there's other new business, before we move on, we'll go along at the last. Okay. So moving on to other business, unless somebody wants to stop at new business, and we'll get back around for our customary at the end. Moving on to the marketing director's report. Gonna make Blair move again.
She's gonna take a nap.
She's coming.
Long walk from in there.
Death march.
Getting the steps in today. Okay. Airport open house was Friday. It was awesome. There was a great group of people. I know it was a weird time because of spring break, so there's a lot of people gone, but I'd say we probably had 60, don't you think? There, great turnout. It was good to see Tim in his natural environment. Seemed pretty happy and content there with his pals. It was awesome. Let's see, just a couple of dates for events.
Right.
Men's.
The catering was excellent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
it
my
was.
crew does great when I'm up there.
Oh, is that what the secret is you not being there?
The
Okay, we'll have to
food-
make sure we arrange for you not to be there more.
Yeah, it was very good.
Listen, about 3 hours beforehand, the wind picked up and the tent was going. Gung, 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 gung. And the limit was 38 miles per hour, and we were at 25. Bob said, "I don't know if it's going to get windy or not." I was like, "I don't care if it does. We're moving inside. It doesn't matter." But Dory and Scott's crew, we all just picked it up and moved it into the hangar, and luckily it was a brand new hangar, so it was real nice and clean. There was no spider webs, and that
No
was
fuel,
nice.
no fuel odors or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was nice.
It was very nice. And that ribbon cut walk was pretty chilly, but it was good. It was good. So just a few dates. The men's league, it starts on April the 12th at the country club. That'll start the season for that. There's a Kentucky Lake Young Professionals meeting. Coffees and combo. What?
I bet it don't.
Oh.
I bet they wait another week.
Well, Kentucky Lake Young Professionals meeting is April the 14th. And that's something that I've been trying to go to. I don't know why they think that I'm still young, but I guess I am. I know.
You are.
Shocking. It's April the 14th at 9 a.m. and it's at Parcel Perks. Last month it was here in Calvert at Los Trace, and then this coming month it'll be at Parcel Perks for coffee in the morning. So it's a fun thing to go to if you're a young professional. It's anybody under 40 apparently. So
And that's kind of the farm system for the Chamber of Commerce.
yes,
board.
yes, that's right.
You rise up.
Training
through
them
the-
young,
through the
yep.
young professionals group.
Training them young. April the 22nd, we're partnering with Kentucky Dam Village State Resort Park, and we're going to have an Earth Day celebration from 8 to 12. We'll have live folk music. I have some succulents that we're going to pot and give away. Then we're going to do make your own wind chimes, and you can paint a birdhouse while you're there. It's all free of charge. Just bring your kiddos and come spend the day at the Sustainability Garden. So it should
that's
be
Earth Day. What's the date?
22nd.
Earth Day party, April 22nd, from 8 to noon.
It's got a fun-filled day.
Yes, and plus that we're gonna do some cleanup, like trail cleanup, and
Formerly
then
known
also,
as a horse stable. Sorry.
Is that
Yes,
it?
riding
Horse
stables.
stable?
Oh, beach stable?
yes, yep. We're gonna do some trail cleanup in there too during that time, and then also, you can look at wildfire about flowers. There's gonna be someone there that can talk about the flowers and what they are and whatnot. April the 29th is our first, I say first, yard of the season, because we have been doing it with the Christmas decorating, holiday decorating contest, but this one will be our first yard of the season. So April 29th, I know you guys have been wanting it, so you have to be in the city limits. It's based on the upkeep of your home and your yard. You can only win once in a 12-month period. So then we're going to do it in April, July, October, and then have our December holiday decorating contest. So 4 times a month.
Or do they go on and?
You can go on, you can nominate, or you can nominate yourself. And then we'll do the judging on April the 29th.
So they gotta be nominated by when? April
April
29th at
28th,
8
I think.
a.m.
Yeah,
28th, okay.
yeah, April 28th, probably 4 o'clock would be good. I think that's what it says.
Yeah.
The yard of the season. Yes.
Don't have much yard.
Yard of the season.
You know, that's, in one sense, nobody's yard's gonna be in real good shape in the end of it.
You just don't want it bad enough. You
Okay.
gotta want it. You gotta want
Yeah.
it.
You gotta want,
that's
it, you gotta
right.
go for it.
Go buy those out here. I go to Hobby Lobby, buy all those flowers.
Fertilizer expensive.
Yeah. And then also the citizen of the year, the citizen of the quarter. So we started it at the 150th, and anyone that was nominated last year was, recognized at the ball. So we're going to continue that. So end of the month is a deadline for that too. So if you have someone in mind that has really been an exemplary servant or volunteer of the year or of the quarter, this quarter, then go online. You can go on the website under resident and fill out the nomination form. They do have to be living. So we do ask that, they are a current resident of Calvert City. That. And the last thing that I have, I'm so excited about. I talked with Kenny today from Holly Nursery, and he has these plants that grow ginormous tomatoes. So it sparked a thought in my mind over the weekend. Chelsea had this garden workshop where she had speakers, and they talked about tomatoes, they talked about high tunnels, they talked about beekeeping and how to make honey, and it was really awesome. But there were so many people that came that I knew that were from Calvert and had a lot of questions about growing tomatoes and different plants. So I want to have a homegrown tomato contest. You have to live in Calvert City. You don't have to live in Calvert City, but I want to have the biggest local contest, and then we'll have an overall contest. So in talking with Kenny, you can buy your tomato plants there. You don't have to. You can buy your tomato plants anywhere you want to. But from July 1st to September 1st, you can submit your tomato. You can submit as many tomatoes as you want. If you have 30 tomatoes and you want to submit them as they get bigger, you can totally do that. And Kenny is you fill out the paper. Kenny takes care of the paperwork. He weighs the tomato and keeps track of.
So this is a size contest.
This is a weight.
Wow,
It's based
okay,
on weight.
Okay. Wait.
Yes, based on weight. And so you buy your plant, Holly, it'll be judged on weight, and it has to be a ripe tomato. So it can't be a green tomato. It has to be ripe. And
Well, I was gonna volunteer to be the judge on the taste thing for the homegrown.
we could
You
do
can start
it.
bringing them over on July 1st, and we just taste them all the way through.
We could do a mayor's choice. Mayor's taste award. Yeah.
Mater.
So from July 1st to September 1st, so you can get and Garrett and I are going to start planting our garden next Saturday. So I think that it's getting that time. But
We could have Mater Day instead of Tater.
That's awesome.
I'm not gonna put that in the highlights.
That's showing.
Lloyd's gonna start with-
Anyway, it's a way to encourage, it's,
This will be Kata's next
Don't
discussion.
say it if you don't want to
Months.
report it.
I don't care, go for it.
it's a, it's a way to encourage that outdoor growing and those pollinators, something that bees can pollinate. It's just a way to learn how to grow your own thing. And growing tomatoes is really not hard. You don't have to have a lot of things. It's pretty inexpensive to grow. John has this look on his face like, I don't know what you're talking about.
A tunnel.
He's like, where does she come up with these ideas at?
It's like
I
an
don't know where
aqua
you
thing.
grow
where they
them,
grow
mine
them-
is
they grow
difficult.
them.
It's a tomato thing?
It's the gravel in
Well,
mine.
Yeah,
isn't it
well,
like
it
the-
can.
what Jim does, isn't it like a tunnel,
They're shaped like a Quonset.
Yeah.
They're covered in
half tunnel?
Oh,
Maybe for growing tomatoes?
For growing anything.
like
Anything.
a hot
Yeah.
house.
You
Oh,
said
yeah.
something about a tunnel.
A high
It's-
tunnel.
Is that a tomato thing?
A high tunnel is kind of like a greenhouse, but it's
Yeah,
real
it's a hot
long
house.
and high. I mean, like Victor has them, Victor Walker.
Google it.
It's a
It's a
building.
greenhouse.
Is it like? well,
His are 88
They're
feet
not-
long.
They're
No.
not technically
They're long.
greenhouses because
Okay.
you don't have electric service.
Yeah.
In other words, the USDA,
Go
all
Google
these
it.
different agricultural organizations.
You don't
They
have a chance of
actually have
winning. If you don't know what tunnel is, you don't have a
grants.
chance of winning.
So you can get a high
I've been
tunnel
eliminated.
and
Now you're telling. now
you know,
you're
you pay for it
telling
up
me.
front and then they'll actually pay you back for it.
Yeah.
And they're the most profitable, lots of things are grown in them, but the most profitable items grown in them are tomatoes and peppers.
Yeah, Victor grows strawberries in there. He's already got strawberries right now, eating them. So anyway, I think that's really all I've got.
Cool.
So
You don't have
Carry on.
anything on the party, the derby party.
The Derby party.
Night. No.
yeah.
It's true. It's a-
I have to alert my son to this best overall. Let me tell you, he grows some monster.
No, I have plenty.
Blair, would you touch base on what we're doing to clean up, since we did it last fall, we're not gonna do it this spring, but we are gonna bring it in this fall, because we're finding our competition for the services, clean earth, shredding service, stuff like that, are pretty much covered up by Earth Day on the larger communities. So we're gonna do scheduling it for September the 17th.
Mhm.
And we'll have our household waste day then. We'll have the standard, the tires, the shredding and the clean earth and all those would be there. So just a heads up so that Saturday, September the 17th, it'll be from 8 to noon. We'll have our household waste day.
Yes, and it works great because the citywide yard sale is the weekend before, so you can get all your junk out and try and sell it. Whenever you don't sell, then you just bring it to us. So
And I'm always surprised that tires still show up. That's just mind boggling.
Oh, listen, I got, my mind's just
Wow.
really going, like, you could have
Easy.
Song to fabric tomatoes, everything.
Where's my
Could have it
gavel?
down at Haddock's Ferry.
This, if anything,
I don't know what you did,
So
but
what we can do, so we can take
you
all
need
the
to
tomatoes
yeah.
okay.
he gets, and get somebody to build us a trailer show. You know, one of
Yeah,
those
so-
things that.
That's,
throws like
no,
throw
you can't, that's too good of you, tomatoes are too good for that.
Yeah,
We can't-
maybe.
And you can act.
Well,
I mean,
there's
I'm
actually
serious,
gentleman
you
town's
can
already built the
charge
trebuchet.
people to throw their tomatoes.
Yeah.
No, no.
Think of all the barges we
Whose
did
was
when
that?
it went by.
No, it's a household waste day.
Earth Day was the 22nd.
Earth Day is the 22nd, 23rd.
Okay.
That's a good waste of tomatoes.
All right, moving right along, without the gavel,
Have to do rotten tomatoes.
wherever it went to.
You're gonna get us-
I don't need it. Forget it. I was teasing. Projects report.
Okay,
You ready for a projects report?
I am.
Is everybody ready for a projects report?
Well, right now, the project's going. Of course, we're working with Hanson and we'll talk about that with his.
Did you get 21 rented?
I'm sorry.
Did you get number 21 rented?
He didn't show up today, but I got a feeling he will be.
Just
Um,
ready to turn on that no vacancy sign.
Drainage out here. We've got it basically installed from down here by David's entrance around to the creek or to the ditch. And then we're gonna bring it from that location up here to try to catch the water that's generally, that's the moisture that you see over here at the far side of the parking lot. You know, that one parking place that always freezes and stuff like that. We're gonna try to catch that, as well as the downspout water coming from the building and carry it out there through this system. So that's where we are right now. I don't, what are we waiting on that one? Just the weather?
Mosquito farm.
Mosquito farm? Okay, all right. Shark Owl Road has been completed. The bridge, we're still working on permitting there. We did pick up the 2 service trucks. They've got the beds installed. We got the chassis. The beds have been installed. We're waiting on, this what, later this month, we can take them back to MCO and get the snow blades installed. The detention basin has not had any progress, but there's been no way to move in the mud that's out there. So it's basically until it dries up a little bit, there's not a whole lot we can do with that. Pickleball, we've got contract for the paving, contract for the fencing. I'm working with, trying to get quotes for the all the painting of the surface, finish the surface. Waiting on our electrician to come in and pull his line, but that's not going to keep us from running the electrical line. So, but that's kind of where, and the things we're waiting for there is for one, for the plant to open, and 2, for the weather to get where they can get up here and get on it. So both of the play structures are here. And they were going to try to install them last week, but the weather has not given us a break on it. And I talked with Miss Patton earlier today, and she said that just as soon as it breaks and dries, we're next on the list. So just as soon as the ground dries up down there and the weather gives us a chance, they'll do the install. So they're ready on that.
That's an old farm.
Yes, ma'am.
Do both of them go there? Structures?
Both of them go in the same, together, yeah. Yeah. The mountain bike trail, again, Mother Nature is the one that's kind of got us under a hold there, because we've got to get in there to do some grade work and some culvert work. And we've got the equipment, the materials. We just don't have the weather right now, to the right weather to get in and do it without making a bigger mess. And that's kind of, what am I looking out, Brad?
We did get Cypress Creek Drive shoulders.
Okay,
It's completed.
okay. Yeah.
What about a bridge?
Bridge, I said, we're in permitting on it right now, doing the floodplain permitting and the core permitting right now. That's where we are on it. So until we get that done, they can advertise for bids until we get our permitting. So
Like, of course, I know you don't have a crystal ball. I mean, what's your expectation on permitting? Timing wise?
well, it depends on the core. Floodplain permitting generally comes back around pretty quick, but this is in a floodway on a blue line waterway, and so it really depends on the Army Corps of Engineers and what, if they come back and ask us for something else. I think we still have the ability to go with a nationwide permit because of the length of the bridge, but I just don't know, what their turnaround is going to be, and I can't say. I've not dealt that much with the Corps. Generally, it's not too bad. But I don't expect it to be months. I expect it to be weeks
Okay.
more than anything.
So on project execution on that project, how long is that bridge going to be under construction?
What did he tell us?
It'll be a while. Because you're talking about concrete pours. And it's a concrete bridge. That's not one they're gonna slap
Say a
together.
year.
You have to pour it.
I can't. Don't quote me on
I'm not voting that. Just asking.
So when we do get it permitted and get into construction, it's going to be a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
that area will be closed for a while, but when they get it in there, that's gonna be that bridge will be up to state or to federal highway standards. So it'll be there for until the second coming.
So that bridge will have to be dealt with in the budgetary process as it crosses over fiscal years, right?
So it's going to, yeah, it's going to cross over.
But we set money aside for some of that last year. did we
Mhm.
not?
Yes,
Didn't
we
he
got money
say-
appropriated.
Didn't he tell us that possibly they could get it out to bids sometime in June?
Yeah, if the permits come through, yeah. Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking
Then
it.
we'll know, hopefully we'll get the bids in, so we'll know what we have to vote.
What
Well,
was,
y'all ran that in last week's paper, right?
Bring the
Okay.
affidavit and the copy. We've got it all ready.
Okay, good. We'll get that off to them so that they can move forward to finish up their
I'll get
permit.
about it tomorrow, unless you want to bring it up here tonight. I can bring it.
No,
No,
that's
no.
fine. Mary sent me the tear sheet, so I just need that.
That way we can move it forward. We had floodplain permitting now requires two publications in the newspaper. They won't waive those anymore. So they did the one and thought they could get just, that's all they had to do, but they were advised that they wanted a second publication, so we had to run it again.
How much do we have budgeted for that?
400.
That's what I was thinking.
I'd have to go back and look, but
I think
that's
that was
correct.
what I was thinking.
okay. Playground's coming soon.
Needs to be front page.
Well, we're waiting on the weather.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Will be this week.
Well, we have them in hand.
It's the main thing. isn't it?
Yep.
Mhm.
They're sitting in the barn.
They're in the building and we'll remind everyone, this is a company we normally do business with. And so these aren't any fly by night outfit and got a good reputation. I think they service our stuff pretty good. And just as soon as we can, we're next on the list for install.
Yeah.
Okay.
That depends on the weather, of course, but that's what's holding us up right now is the weather.
Okay.
As soon as they can get the area to dry up enough and the weather to break for just a few days, enough time to get it together, they will.
I think we're ready for an airport update. There's an airport update. You're here. We gotta talk about the airport.
Well, only for a second.
You gotta come up and get on the mic.
Well, we can hear you. Nobody out there in Cyberland can
Oh,
hear you.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it is.
The first thing I wanted to mention is how impressed I was. And the group, this very small group that was with me. With the event on Friday. Airports of your size. Don't get that kind of turnout for a ribbon cutting or for a dedication to a new facility. It just doesn't happen. I've been to some where there were 7 or 8 people show up and it's just impressive that you had the community turnout that you did. And I congratulate you for that.
Well, thank you.
Just a couple of just quick notes. One of them is that the federal deadline for submittal of your entitlement grant application was today. The grant application went in to complete the airport layout plan and the environmental work. Last Thursday, the FAA threw a wrench in the middle of our effort, but that's going to be a fairly routine event, is re-educating them as to what we're doing and why we're doing it the way we're doing it. And that is the planning process for the fence, the clearing, and the overall permitting of the airport. And speaking of permitting, it's wetlands and floodplain. So we had the kickoff meeting last month with the Airport Advisory Board, and we're well on our way to doing that. We're scheduled to meet with them again in July to move forward with the airport layout plan process.
So what was the wrench again?
The wrench was the Federal Aviation Administration has come in and questioned the process that we're using, the environmental process as opposed to the airport layout plan process. Their comments were, well, the issue that they're having is that the 3 people within the FAA
overseeing this airport and the grant process are completely new to the airport. And the three that were there last year when we set the schedule are no longer available to them to question as to what they approved and what they didn't approve. So we're going through this re-education process with the FAA. But the Kentucky Department of Aviation is fully supportive of where we are, and they are leading the effort to re-educate the Federal Aviation Administration.
Okay.
I can't use the acronym, John. Gets aggravating with me for doing that. And one point of awareness, kind of premature bringing it up, but that's the way we operate. Last Thursday, the state passed their budget for the next biennial, and aviation did not come out very well. Aviation was dramatically underfunded compared to how it's been for the last 4 to 6 years. And we're still researching, seeing where we're going. And I'll have more information about that in May. But we're rather disappointed. The governor had asked for $30 million and the budget came in under 12. So it's rather disappointing. How that affects future projects, we'll have to wait and see. There could very well be an adjustment in July of this year and July of next year, when the total revenue from the aviation fuel tax comes into the state and they redistribute that money and reevaluate where they are. But right now we're quite disappointed. We here is obviously the consultants, but also the airports and what it means to some projects that we're looking forward to. So I'll have more on that in May. That's all I had, unless somebody has an acronym question. The acronym of the day.
Do you have a new one every day?
Just about.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, we
Thank you
appreciate,
for having me.
we appreciate your help and guidance in this process, and
Mater, that's right. Mater's a good one.
Probably the acronym of that.
Mater,
Mater.
we gotta figure out what that stands for. That'd be fun. Well, I didn't mean at this meeting. No, that was the airport update, and that being the last item of other business. This is where we customarily go around council member to council member and see if anybody's got a specific thing that's on their mind. I'll start with Tanara. I can go.
I don't think I have any.
You don't have anything? Okay. Ralph, you got something? Nope. Okay.
I'm all good.
Jeremy?
I'm good.
Everybody's good.
All right.
All right. Well, I would entertain a motion then, unless there's something
I'll
we have
make a
forgotten. Are you happy, Glenda?
Yeah.
John's happy. Greg's happy. He didn't have to pull out the computer a single time.
Motion.
Got a motion?
And